This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
I definitely think that this is probably a case of where somebody goes around and does this and looks for opportunity.
Only on RTV6, a Fisher's mom has a warning you need to hear if you're thinking of making some extra cash this summer. She says thieves targeted her garage sale. RTV6's Graham Hunter shows you how they did it and how experts say you can keep your money safe.
Summer is here and it's garage sale season, a chance to make some extra money and get rid of your old stuff. But it's important to remember to keep a close eye out when strangers are in your community. A Fisher's mother says, keep your cash close. It was time for Rebecca's biannual garage sale.
I sold my daughter's bed so that we could get her a new one. A bunch of kid stuff.
A few hours into the sale and things were going well.
It was a great sunny day. We had lots of traffic and good stuff to sell.
She turned around for just a minute.
I go to give a lady some change, and all of a sudden, this purse is gone.
It was where she kept all her money.
I specifically picked out this purse for my garage sale money because I could wear it.
Inside was $350 and her phone. She was able to track the iPhone a few blocks away where she found it on the ground with her empty purse.
We were going to use that money to buy my daughter a new bed mattress and bed set.
Rebecca's community is hosting a big garage sale all weekend. Now she has advice for her neighbors.
Always wear your money on you. Keep it either in your pockets or on your person. Probably only keep a very small amount out here.
The Better Business Bureau recommends enlisting help from friends or family to keep an eye on the things you have for sale and your money, and say you should never let someone inside your home and always watch out for counterfeit money.
I still made $100. Afterwards? Yeah, and we've got tomorrow.
Lesson learned, and she'll be back at it in the morning.
Heck yeah! I'm not letting this stop me.
Reporting from Fisher's, Graham Hunter, RTV6.
Thanks, Graham. And we've reached out to Fisher's police to see if garage sale thefts are common. We will let you know if they respond with more info there. Well, now to a live look outside from our tower camera in downtown Indianapolis. It's a lot more calm outside than it was earlier this evening. Storm Team 6 meteorologist Todd Clausen is helping you prepare for the weekend. Todd.
Yeah, once those showers went through, it turned into a pretty nice evening for most of us here across central Indiana. And as you look at Storm Team 6 radar right now, it is completely quiet. So we've calmed things down for right now. That is the good news. And throughout much of the overnight, we should be just fine as we'll have mostly cloudy skies. But off to our west, we do have more storms, and we'll have to keep an eye on these as we get a little bit closer to daybreak. So that was the cluster of storms that kind of just skirted south of the area this evening, giving some of you some heavy downpours and a little bit of lightning. But it's this complex that's starting to develop near Omaha that's going to potentially roll in here again as we get a little closer to sunrise tomorrow, which is going to be a little after 6 o'clock. So tomorrow morning, as you wake up, there's a good chance, especially to the south, that you're dealing with some heavier downpours. Do not let that kind of throw you off your game for the rest of Saturday, because what's going to happen is that'll move out pretty quickly. And then throughout much of the afternoon and evening hours on Saturday, it is just a very hit or miss spotty downpour. The entire day is not going to be a washout, but the humidity will come up. So tomorrow morning, we're talking about 65 to 70 degrees with a few downpours possible. But eventually, we're climbing up into the low 80s. We'll talk about the rest of your Saturday and look at your Sunday as well, Amanda, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Todd. The impact of tornadoes in Beech Grove will still be seen at the high school when students return to class. The superintendent says building repairs will still be underway when school starts on July 31st. A tornado tore off a section of the roof, causing extensive damage in more than 20 classrooms. At least 6 classrooms in the school will remain closed for repairs at the start of the school year, according to the district. And new at 11, community members make their voices heard in a fight to make fresh food available in their neighborhood. It's an issue that's been back in the spotlight in recent weeks. Tonight, neighbors held a meeting outside A&I Variety Meats and Produce. The locally owned store is struggling and may shut down. Some people who live in food deserts, like near 38th and Post Road, are critical of a city proposal to address the problem. Now, the plan includes subsidizing Lyft rides to grocery stores.
Is transportation an issue? Because what the city is saying is that it is, but is it? And what we're finding is from the residents that are responding is it's not. It's not the transportation that's the issue. It's that they want closer grocery stores. They want to be able to walk or not have to take 15 to 60 minutes to get food, fresh, local food.
Some people are frustrated the city did not get their input before crafting a plan to address food deserts. Community supporters created their own survey for neighbors. An Indianapolis minister is asking for help catching the person behind a blatant attack with unknown motivations. Surveillance video shown here shows 5 men walking in an alley behind Delaware Street on the south side. One of the men stops, climbs on the hood of a car, and jumps on the windshield, shattering it. Minister Russ Smith's wife drives the car. He does not want the suspects punished, but wants them to take responsibility.
Jail time, in my mind, is not a good thing. Usually what it does is take small criminals and make them into bigger criminals. So I'd much rather see them do something to restore the property.
At least 2 windshields were smashed on the same night. If you have any information, you're asked to call police.
July 18th, 2018, Deshaun Cameron, 20 years old, shot to death.
Downtown protest is part of a growing tension over a claim made by the city and a prominent anti-violence group. Some community members think Indianapolis leaders and the 10-Point Coalition are misleading the public about violence on the Far East Side. This week, the city and 10 Points celebrated 1 year without any homicides in that part of Indianapolis. But some community activists are criticizing that statistic.
To say the Far East Side, but then you pick a certain area where there's really not a lot of activity going on to make your stats look good, that is not acceptable.
It's a disservice to our community. It's a disservice to the families who has lost a victim on the Far East Side. It's a disservice to my family. We have lost a family member.
At the center of the debate is what really makes up the Far East Side. The red area on this map here is what the city considers the Far East Side. The much smaller green area is the portion patrolled by 10 Point. The blue markers identify homicides. Reverend Charles Harrison, leader of 10 Point, says he thought the boundaries were made clear during this week's announcement.
We was highlighting that collaborative partnerships work in helping to curb the pattern of violence, and our hope is that what was done in this section of the Far East Side then can be replicated in other areas on the Far East Side, that same kind of partnership.
Harrison also says his team focuses on saving the lives of boys and men ages 12 to 24, a goal he says they have reached. RTV6 is getting answers for a Carmel woman who reached out with concerns over a traffic safety issue. The Arts and Design District is a busy area. Main Street is lined with restaurants and other businesses. It's also often lined with cars. Denise Moe lives 2 blocks from First Avenue and East Main Street. She says a lot of street parking creates blind intersections.
If someone's trying to pull into Main Street or through Main Street and someone's parked on the street, it creates a blind intersection and a possibly dangerous situation.
We took Denise's concerns to the city. We learned the engineering department is considering removing some parking spots to address this issue. There are also plans to add crosswalks to make the area safer. The search is over. Indianapolis Public Schools has selected the person who will lead the district into 2020 and beyond.
The Board of Commissioners has entered into an agreement in principle with Alicia Johnson to be our next superintendent of the Indianapolis Public Schools.
Alicia Johnson has been serving in the role since January, taking over for Dr. Lewis Farabee, who left the district for another position. Johnson has been an educator for more than 16 years. She says she is committed to the Indianapolis community.
I'm a parent of 3 students in this district, and so it's not just a job for me. It's really about the experiences we're creating for my own children and everyone else's as well. And that's important for parents to feel safe and feel confident that their kids are getting a great educational experience, and that's what I'm committed to.
Johnson's selection makes history. She's the first African-American woman to lead IPS. A special ceremony tonight. It was not always guaranteed these high school graduates would live to see graduation day. 19 students took part in the event at Riley Hospital for Children. All of them were patients at some time in their lives. Tonight, Hiring Hoosiers shares a job opportunity where you can earn extra cash and be part of an Indiana tradition.
And the first cluster of thunderstorms has made its way all the way through central Indiana. It's pushed to the south, but there's another cluster gathering some strength off to our west. That arrives by tomorrow morning. We'll talk about that coming up in your weekend forecast.
While going through a divorce, a Michigan man bought a lottery ticket and hit the jackpot. Should he be forced to split the $38 million payout with his ex-wife? But the court decided. Next. And when you ask for help, we answer the call. Here are some examples of how RTV6 is working for you.
Some East Side residents say their complaints about a lingering water leak aren't being heard.
The leak was brought to our attention by Bobby Boggs. He lives a half a block away from the origin of the leak, but says he's concerned about potential damage that the leak may be causing.
As we know, that's how sinkholes occur.
According to Citizens Energy, barring some emergency water break, this leak will be fixed tomorrow.
RTV6 headed back out to that neighborhood today. We found the leak had been fixed by Citizens Energy Group. An Indianapolis couple has been battling to get the grass across from their home cut and maintained.
For the last 12 years, Donna Bebley has kept a diary of every call she's made for help.
And our last resort was calling Channel 6.
Her husband, Mike, has just about had it.
It's a disgrace.
After making numerous calls to the mayor's action line, he's learned the property is managed by two departments. INDOT on the side of the fence that is closest to the interstate, and the city of Indianapolis on the side facing his home. INDOT tells RTV6 state contractors mow the grass up to 15 feet from the interstate. What grows beyond the fence line or obstructs a city sidewalk, INDOT says that is supposed to be maintained by the city of Indianapolis.
DPW responded to RTV6's questions about the out-of-control grass. They say the wet weather has slowed down their mowing efforts, but say they do have plans to mow the area soon. We will keep following this story and let you know when that work gets done.
IndianaBlackExpo.com for more information.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
A lottery winner must share the prize with his ex-wife, even though they were in the process of getting a divorce when he bought that ticket. That's the ruling from a Michigan Court of Appeals. Richard Zelasco won an $80 million Mega Millions jackpot in 2013. The payout came to $38 million after taxes. Zelasco and his then-wife filed for divorce in late 2011. The case was in arbitration when Zelasco won the money. The arbitrator ruled the $1 spent on the winning ticket was likely marital money and a joint investment. The U.S. is calling for closed meetings with the United Nations Security Council Monday. This comes after President Trump announced the military was set to fire a strike on Iran following the attack against a military drone. ABC's Trevor Alt is in Washington with the latest.
Just 24 hours after Iran shot down an American drone, President Trump says the U.S. was only minutes away from striking back. The president explaining his 11th hour decision to call off retaliatory attacks targeting 3 Iranian sites, telling NBC News his advisors told him they were ready to go and needed a decision.
And I said, you know what? They shot down an unmanned drone, plane, whatever you want to call it. And here we are sitting with 150 dead people that would have taken place probably within a half an hour after I said go ahead. Yeah. And I didn't like it. I didn't think it was proportionate.
Sources say the president went against the advice of his Secretary of State and National Security Advisor. The decision coming around 7 o'clock Thursday night, only hours after top members of Congress were summoned to the Situation Room for a military and intelligence briefing on the ongoing conflict with Iran. However, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Speaker Nancy Pelosi said they weren't informed that a possible U.S. strike was imminent.
House and Senate Democrats were very clear that Congress must act. It must have the authority of Congress before we initiate military hostilities into Iran.
Friday, Iran claiming a separate U.S. surveillance plane, this one with military personnel on board, flew into their territory. Iranian military deciding not to shoot it down. Instead, it was passengers aboard a Qatar Airlines flight that appeared to be in the greatest danger over the Gulf of Oman, with the flight track showing the missile passing just miles in front of it. Trevor Alt, ABC News, Washington.
Well, this summer you can earn money while being surrounded by games, rides, food, and fun. The state fair still needs hundreds of workers. It takes more than 1,000 people to make the fair happen over its 17-day run. Positions include gates, parking, and security. Organizers say the temporary gig is great for students, retirees, or anyone who wants to make some extra money but can't commit to a job long term. It's also a great way to be part of a very special event.
People want to work for the fair, and they want to be a part of the state's largest event. In fact, we have several folks who come back and work for us during their vacation time from their regular jobs, just to make some extra money and have a great experience.
Well, if you're interested in working at the fair, go to hiringhoosiers.com for detailed info on how to apply. The state fair runs from August 2nd through the 18th.
Feel your skin relax.
Well, hundreds of people may be drying out their yoga mats tonight after Monumental Yoga took a soggy turn. The annual events bring yogis together on Monument Circle for free yoga sessions. At one point, people had to break out the umbrellas, but they did not seem to mind.
We love yoga so much. It's a fun way to get together with the community and just all of us do yoga together.
Donations from the event go to Indie Yoga Movement. The nonprofit group works to empower young people to overcome challenges through the development of life skills using yoga, mindfulness, and other similar practices. Always one of my favorite events to kick off summer because today is also the first day of summer.
Yeah, it officially arrived at 11:54 this morning.
It felt like it was summer around that time.
Yeah, at that time, it was beautiful at the noon hour, and then the showers came in. Thankfully, there was no lightning, though, so they were able to get that event in, even though they did get just a little wet. All right, this evening, we are completely quiet. Storm Team 6 radar is showing no rain in and around central Indiana. There's a few showers up to the north, but we still maintain a flash flood watch in southern locations in all the counties you see here in green, from Terre Haute to Bloomington to Seymour, and then basically down to the south. And that's kind of for overnight and into tomorrow. So the cluster of storms that went through this evening prompted one severe thunderstorm warning to the southwest. That continues to dive down to the south and is no longer an issue for us. But as you look back off to the west, you do notice some storms already starting to flare up in western portions of central Illinois, back just north of St. Louis and all the way into Kansas City. And all that is going to head in our direction now throughout the overnight hours. So as we go over to TrueCast, we have a chance of a hit or miss downpour through the overnight hours, but the heaviest of the rain probably arrives towards daybreak, which sunrise tomorrow is at 6:18, a minute later than it was this morning, now that our days are actually going to start to get a little bit shorter. Hard to believe that. But anyway, this heavy rain starts to come in, and tomorrow morning, especially in southern locations, it gets off to a pretty dreary start. The further north you are, the better shape you're in come Saturday morning. But that heavy rain could lead to a little bit of flash flooding in southern locations, and that's why that flash flood watch is still out. So as we go throughout the afternoon hours on Saturday, it's not a bad afternoon and evening, honestly. It's just a hit or miss shower. So the wettest part of the day is tomorrow when you wake up. So when you wake up, don't think back to last Saturday when we kept that rain around the entire time. It's probably just going to be in the morning hours, and that's why we also have the slight risk that's out. That's basically for the morning hours as well, when those storms start to make their way through. So the severe threat tomorrow, it's fairly minimal, but it's present. Flooding's the biggest concern, as we talked about, and then damaging wind would be the secondary threat as some of those storms move through. So tomorrow, it's warm, it's muggy, temperatures in the mid to upper 70s to right around 80 degrees with drier hours through the middle half of the day. And then for Sunday, Sunday's not a washout either. We see these isolated storms flare up, but lots of dry hours on Sunday. The thing you'll notice the most, I think, on Sunday is not so much the storm chances, it's the humidity. It comes way, way up on Sunday with temperatures that'll be climbing into the 60s and 70s and maybe even the 80s for you in the afternoon and evening hours. Here's a look at your 7-day planning forecast. I think what jumps out at you is the dry weather as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with temperatures in the mid-80s. Amanda?
Thanks, Todd. Well, we've got sports up next. Brad Brown is here with more on the arrival of the Pacers' new draft pick, and Dave First is on the road again this weekend.
IndyCar continues the 2019 season at one of the most historic road courses in all the world, Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. I'm Dave First. Catch it up with the Rahals. Coming up here at RTV6.
Mile warranty and Honda of Fishers.
Welcome to Indiegogo. The Pacers' new draft pick getting quite the cheer from staff at Bankers Life Fieldhouse today. A nice gesture there from the folks at Pacers Sports and Entertainment. A whirlwind night and day for 19-year-old Goga Batidze. Played his pro ball since he was 16. Serbian League this past season. Also was MVP in the Adriatic League. Ready to get his shot at the big time. Says he wants to work on getting stronger. Pacers' first Summer League game, July 6th in Las Vegas. And good evening, everyone. IndyCar has 8 races left on the schedule. Still plenty of opportunities for the championship point standings to get quite the shuffle. With a wide variety of races left on the calendar, the leaders will be challenged every time out. The longest course on the schedule is this weekend up in Wisconsin. Dave First joins us from Road America with more.
Well, after a weekend off, IndyCar is now back at it, beginning the summer stretch here at historic Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and Graham Rahal doing so. A bit of a throwback look. 25 years ago, when Dad, Bobby Rahal, drove the Miller Genuine Draft Car. Remember that? Well, the folks at Gale agreeing with the idea this weekend, punctuated by a photo op here at Road America. So realistic, Graham going with the thick Bobby Rahal mustache. Full mustache yesterday. How did that work?
Well, it didn't work well because it was stuck on, and every time I tried to smile, it would fall off. So I had to be pretty serious face. But
it's fun, the retro look.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I think Dad got a good laugh out of it, and this whole weekend with all the nostalgic stuff is pretty cool.
Good season, not great. How do you turn it around?
I think speed-wise we've been pretty solid, but we haven't been able to maximize a lot of the areas that we've been the best too, like Alabama. Obviously, the 500 we were very good, and just didn't come together. But that's life. Sometimes it happens and it comes together and looks easy, and sometimes it just doesn't. So, we've got a little work to do still. But I'm pleased with the effort that's been put in. I feel like we've made pretty good gains, so we'll see.
A little Rahal history here at Road America. Bobby Rahal won a couple of poles. Sunday, Graham looking to give the family their first win. At Road America, Day First, RTV6 Sports.
I get a look at practice up at Road America today. A lot of guys using more than just the track. Scott Dixon locks him up. Gets wide on the pad there, but hangs on to it. Indy 500 winner Simon Pagenaud got in the dirt a couple times on this lap. That is not uncommon on this course. And Alexander Rossi, a little air, a little sideways, a little dirt. Hanging on to it, though, and it turned into the fastest lap of the afternoon session. The top 10 drivers were all within 1 second of Rossi. Defending race winner Joseph Newgarden third this afternoon, right behind teammate Will Power. Pair of rookies in the top 5. It's Colton Herta and Felix Rosenquist. Ryan Hunter-Reay, by the way, first off this list, 7th this afternoon, was quickest in the early session. They'll qualify on Saturday, and then the race comes up on Sunday. IndyCar actually gets a couple weeks off after this one. They'll head up to Toronto for the next race. That's on July 14th. Time for a final break, then we're back to wrap up tonight's News at 11 next.
The only name you need to know.
Welcome back. The Jefferson Award, now known as Multiplying Good, is recognizing a Purdue professor. Dr. Sandy San Miguel is a swine veterinarian nominated by the university. She works with students from kindergarten to veterinary college to pursue their dreams through a mentorship program. She created the program, This Is How We Roll, that is now in 19 states. You can nominate someone who who is making a difference. Go to theindychannel.com, select the menu and the life section, and click on Multiplying Good.
All right, some spotty storms will arrive through the overnight hours and towards daybreak tomorrow. Some locally heavy downpours possible, especially down to the south. Maybe some borderline strong to severe storms with wind being the main threat. It's warm and muggy over the weekend, but it's not a washout. Lots of dry hours Saturday and Sunday as well.
Enjoy the beginning of summer that this weekend is going to bring. All right, well, thanks for joining us and have a good night.